Um, so I'm here. I want to talk to you about my life so far at Judson and before Judson and everything just after, hopefully. I was born in a typical Christian family. Went to church, did all sorts of churchy things. For those of you who know Awana and places where you memorize verses and say them and you get all these awards and stuff. It's kind of cool. What I'm going to do is I have these bottles of juicy water flavored stuff, and throughout what I'm talking about today, I'm going to relate to this bottle, which is going to be like an image of my body and like how it represents to others in life. As Christians, you want to portray God onto others, and in order to do that, people need to see through you into God. So the best way to do that, for me, is to have a visual. So I have this clear bottle, and I'm going to use this to show you guys how clear and unclear my life has turned into be. So, going back into my story. I was raised in a Christian family, Christian house. I have a brother and two sisters, so we had some good times and some bad times, obviously. And I was saved at age 5, asked Jesus to be in my life, and of course I didn't know anything about that. To this day, I'm happy that he's in my life, which is good. So, moving on, all the way up through high school, I lived the church life and listened to my parents, thought I was doing great. And I started getting into some drinking and some other things my friends are involved in, like drugs and stuff like that. First off, I'll say this, I do not have a very high tolerance at all. I had a Bud Light and I threw up. So yeah, it was pretty bad. So to put that in there, I have this, I'm going to say it's a mixed drink, but it's lemonade. So lemonade was poured into my life. So I don't know if you can see that. You can see pretty clearly through there. Not so much, but I mean you can still see through it. And it's not just alcohol that was poured into me. God was also pouring into me too. He was going to be represented by regular water. So he poured into my life through going to church every Sunday and interacting with youth group and stuff like that. So as you can see, it's pretty clear. And that's pretty much how my that looks like watered down pee, but that's pretty much how my high school life turned out to be. And then after I graduated out of high school, I decided to move on into other sorts of pleasures, I guess you can call them. I was a huge pothead. I got into a lot of people call it reefer and like joints, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to represent that with apple cider. Because it's good, I like apple cider. So I did that for about a year, on and off. And that was probably one of the biggest influences in my life. Now this looks really gross, and you probably can't see through that at all. Now, in order to portray being a Christian to others, you have to show Christ to others. And, oh, I forgot. I did go to church at the same time, so I could put a couple drops of water. So, as you can see, it did get a little bit more diluted, but it still doesn't really help the fact that you can't really see through anything. I don't even know if I would drink this, but this is what I was portraying on others, and that to me doesn't look good, and it kind of goes into play where whatever you fill into your life, it comes out no matter what. You can hide it somehow. You can go to church every Sunday. You can be a huge person in your youth group like the way I was, and this still is inside of you. It's not like there's this part here that is covered, and that's what you're trying to cover. But there's still other spots that are leaking through. So this is going into college at Harper College, and so I didn't do so well. I ended up failing out of a couple classes, and I wasn't right with God. I wasn't right with my parents. I lost trust. I lost friends. I don't know. Friends to me is like the world. I can't do anything without friends. So I had a pretty significant impact in my life, and I'm glad that it happened. And it was probably God allowed it to happen. And one of them was I totaled a car. That was my car. My grandma gave me a car. So her old car, and I totaled it. Sleeping and driving doesn't work, so don't do it. Then my parents ended up catching me. They had the suspicion of smoking and drinking and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of dropped a couple hits every once in a while. So they confronted me about it. I totally denied it. Of course, I was high at the time, and they knew that. And they told me that, well, if it happens again, then it's pretty much dead. Like, I'm going to be dead. So I did probably the worst thing you could do and tried it one more time, just like, okay, this is it, I'm done. And that's when God brought down the hammer and be like, all right, this is got to stop. So ran into my parents again, and then I wasn't allowed to hang out with any of my friends, which was very devastating because in community college, for those of you who have experienced it, it's pretty much the next level of high school. You don't have any other friends because you don't have dorm life. You just go to work, and you go to college, and then you go home. There's nothing else. So I was left over winter break for 2 weeks to sit at home and maybe talk on the phone to some relatives. I learned how to juggle. So that was very helpful. So that's when God started moving in my life. I started pulling things together, and I started getting back reading and finding out different questions. I mean, it starts off with just a small question in your head, like who he is or what is he doing and all sorts of stuff. So my water bottle ended up not looking like this anymore. Since I ran out of fluids, I can't really show you what it looks like, but as you talk to others or